In this video, I'm going to show you 3 ways to basically guarantee your ability to grow a net worth of $1 million or more, perhaps even several million dollars. All 3 of these tactics are things that I'm personally executing on as we speak and give me total and complete confidence that I will reach my financial goals of having a net worth of several million dollars by the time I retire. Most importantly though, these tactics running in the background completely automatically give me peace of mind every night when my head hits the pillow that when it comes time to retire or when it comes time to make a purchase of something that I want, I will have the funds and means to do so. Personal finance is something that's been on my radar since I started my own personal development journey the better part of a decade ago. And I'm going to rank these based on importance of what I've personally learned from my own personal finance journey. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. So take this with a grain of salt. It's best to always speak with a professional about these things, not some guy with a beard telling you what to do on YouTube. Over the past 10 years, I've read pretty much every personal finance book that you can imagine. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Automatic Millionaire, The Millionaire Next Door, and so on and so forth. I've read it probably several times. I also went pretty deep down the rabbit hole of financial minimalism, or FIRE, which stands for Financial Independent Retirement Extreme, which is an aggressive saving strategy where you save sometimes up to 90% of your income. It took me a while of going through and trying different things before I came up with something that really worked for me and my own personal situation. I needed something that was simple, easy, and that I had confidence in. What I came up with and what I'm going to talk about in this video are 3 key strategies, all of which have the potential to net me millions of dollars by the time I retire. Number 1 is retirement investing. Number 2 is general investing. And number 3 is business growth and generating additional income. Let's start with the basics. So the number 1 way to automate your way to millions of dollars by the time you retire is effective financial planning. Effectively planning for your retirement is definitely not the sexiest way to get rich. It's not going to get a lot of clicks on YouTube, but it is by far the best way to make sure that you are financially set for your financial future. Everything else that I'm going to talk about later in this video is great and everything, but if you don't have the basics down, everything else is just speculative, and there's a good chance that you might be taking a risk by not doing this. Planning for your retirement is also the best way to make sure that when it comes time to retire, which will be here before you think, you're financially set so you don't become a burden on your family or other people in your life. So there are 2 common types of retirement accounts. You have a 401k, which is your standard retirement account, oftentimes offered by your employer or place of work, and a Roth IRA. This isn't going to be a masterclass on the differences between a 401k and a Roth IRA. So in this video, I'm just going to focus on the 401k, but pretty much any financial person you read or speak with is going to tell you should be maxing out your contributions to each of these every single year. I was lucky to learn these principles early, completely self-educated based on the books and the content that I was choosing to consume. But what really blows my mind is so much pressure is put on people in this country to go to school, go to college, get a good job, generate a high income, but almost no focus is given in any of the education system on what to do with that income once you start generating it. Getting rich and building wealth is not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep and what you do with that money once you earn it. So let's break this down with some visuals. What I'm going to do here is throw up some visuals on the screen of a 25-year-old person who wants to automate their way to becoming a millionaire by the time they retire around the age of 65. So a rough starting salary for somebody in the United States with a bachelor's degree these days is roughly 60 to 65K per year. I'm also going to assume, for just the simplicity of this visual here, that we stay at that same $65,000 per year income until we retire. That's a highly unlikely circumstance. The chances of you not having any sort of pay raise or increasing your income as you learn more skills and increase your worth in the market is highly unlikely. But again, for simplicity, let's focus on that. If you're currently in a situation where you're making significantly less than $65,000, let's have a conversation about that later in the video. I'll get to that, and I'll get to ways that we can generate more income for ourselves. So what you can see here though is that just by investing 10% of your $65,000 per year, that's only $6,500 pre-tax income per year, you can literally automate your way to generating millions of dollars by the time you retire. If you look at the graph, it's about 1.2 mil just from investing from the ages of 25 to 65 into your 401k. The best part about this is that you're actually only going to be contributing 25-ish% of that. This means that taking advantage of the compounding effects of your money in the market over time gives you almost a 4x return over your working lifespan. The next way to become a millionaire is through general investing, and it's possible to completely automate this entire process. As I mentioned earlier, my entire investment ethos and strategy is automated investing. I also have the stomach, as I'm 33 years old, going on 34, for a decent amount of risk at this point in my life. I'm not being terribly speculative. I've got some money in crypto, but I'm not making massive bets at this point. I'd like to see a steady return over time that basically guarantees more millions of dollars in my bank account. While personal finance in general is a big passion of mine because I think it's just a prudent way to go through life to make sure that you're set up for your future, watching stock tickers insurance, and overall finance is not really a big passion of mine. Because of this, I've chosen what's called a robo-advisor as my key investment strategy. The nice thing about robo-advisors is a couple of different things. One is their actual investment strategy. So Betterment takes my money and they invest it in what are called ETFs. These are essentially funds that pool money from a bunch of different investors and spread that capital across a bunch of different companies. The companies they typically invest in are known for generating consistent returns, and some of them generate what is called a dividend, which is where you get paid each year just for owning that stock. This is a great investment strategy for individual investors because it completely diversifies your portfolio, not just across those ETFs, but also between the companies within those ETFs. If you were to look at my portfolio right now, I own partial shares in hundreds, if not thousands of companies. So if one of those companies has a rough quarter, it doesn't really affect my overall earnings from my stock holdings in general. So let's take a look at some numbers here. What you're looking at here is actually a projection of one of my own personal investing accounts. As you can see, I set a goal of 1.5 million by the time I retire at age 65. With a projection like this, it's easy to see how a consistent rate of return can almost guarantee the fact that I'm going to hit 1.5 million in this specific investing account by 2054. The best part about this investing strategy is this isn't something that I have to babysit. In fact, I check it very, very little. I almost forget that it's happening a lot of the time because a couple of times a month, money is just taken from my paycheck and invested directly into Betterment. Before I take this money and spend it on anything else, it just immediately goes into our investing account and starts going to work in the market for my future wealth. So between those two strategies, you can see that it's fairly easy to generate millions of dollars by the time you retire. But you might be watching this and thinking to yourself, okay, this sounds great and everything, but that sounds like a lot of money and a lot of sacrifice in order to be able to achieve that. So the third way to automate your way to being a millionaire is to create some sort of business or way to increase your income. And it's best if you make this as passive as you can. In short, starting a business of some kind or a side hustle can help dramatically collapse the timelines needed to achieve these financial goals. If you had a couple $1,000s every month extra coming in, you'd be able to be investing that or putting that money to work for you while maintaining your same lifestyle, but guaranteeing your way to generate millions of dollars in the market. In 2016, I decided to start what was at the time a side hustle with my now business partner, Derek, managing social media for clients. We started the business and very quickly we started generating thousands of dollars working with local businesses, just helping them manage social media. And it was something that anybody could do. We didn't really have a lot of background or expertise in the space. We just knew how social media worked and we found business owners that needed help with it. It didn't take long before we realized that this was something that could actually replace our full-time incomes and offer us a lot of freedom that we wouldn't be able to achieve otherwise, like the ability to travel whenever we wanted, take time off whenever we wanted, and do whatever we wanted. If you're looking for a way to increase your income or generate a couple $1,000s extra every month, I definitely would recommend what is called an SMMA or social media marketing agency. This is what my business partner Derek and I run, and it's the vehicle that's enabled the entire lifestyle that you see. We teach a program on this called the SMMA Blueprint. I'll link to that in the description down below if that's something that might be interesting for you. The beauty behind this business model is it's something that's very simple. It doesn't require a lot of overhead. It doesn't require any initial investment really to get started with. And it's entirely possible, and we've seen thousands of students go through this, starting the business and getting their first clients in a couple of weeks, paying them thousands of dollars every month. It's an amazing business where with very little training, you're able to start working with businesses that desperately need this type of service, help them grow their social media, and you get rewarded handsomely with thousands of dollars every month that you can then start deploying, automatically investing, and putting to work to generate the type of outcomes and millions of dollars that you want to see in your bank account in the future. There is a 0% chance that I would be able to be making the type of financial moves that I'm able to make if I wasn't running the social media marketing agency that I run with my business partner, Derek. These days, we're making about $100,000 per month, which is in a month what I used to make in an entire year as a highly paid salesperson for a company I worked for before starting our agency. While the business itself isn't necessarily what I would call passive, the amount of time that we're saving by running this business dramatically changes how much we're able to automatically invest every month, and it's completely altered the entire future of both of our lives. A great video that talks more about this would be the one that's up on the screen here, which talks about my different streams of income that are really powering the engine behind what I'm talking about in this video. This never would have been possible for me without starting a business, and what I've talked about in this video is really just the starting point. That's one of my investment accounts, and that's one of my retirement accounts. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes, but these are things that anybody watching this video can implement and automate their way to becoming a millionaire. Hope this has been helpful for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if these are topics that are interesting to you, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.